What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Now, I want to give you guys this intro. Deontay Wilder did a Sirius XM interview, and he talked about Joshua's loss. So I want to play the clip before I get into it. I want to give a couple of my thoughts. Deontay Wilder, he basically stated things in the past. He blames Eddie Hearn. He responds. He did a post on his Instagram immediately after the fight happened, and he says, now we see who was running from who. And his whole, tenure as a champion, it was compromised, or comprised, I guess is the word, comprised of lies and, running from the fight. And now we see who is who. And they talked at the post-fight conference to Eddie Hearn about it. And Eddie Hearn said it was a low blow, kicking a man while he was down. And, Wilder has no class. But Wilder responded. He said, if he thinks I'm classist, I feel the same way about him, because he lied. He toyed with the public. He defamed my name. He played games with us. Didn't give us the fight. And Wilder says, I told him he was going to regret this. He was going to regret this. And it's crazy because Deontay Wilder met with DAZN, and he didn't want Eddie Hearn there. And if you listen to what he's saying, he actually, most of his commentary, his negative things he's saying, is not even directed at Anthony Joshua. It's directed at Eddie Hearns. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really go in on Anthony Joshua. All he said was, it's boxing, heavyweight division. It could have happened, and they knew it, So he blames them. He said, this could have happened to me, if I would have lost and they would have been out of a big fight. I told them that this fight, we offered them $50 million plus 50% of the back end. And I told them they were gonna regret not taking it, and the world sees it. Deontay Wilder, he was right. People could say, "Oh, the $50 million wasn't real." Well, it's your job to expose them. If it wasn't real, how come there's not one shred of evidence to suggest that the money wasn't real? Like, hey, I tried to contact the bank, and they said this money can't be delivered, or there's no It was just a bunch of speculation from fans and Eddie Hearn, to try to throw the dogs off the scent. They know the money was real. Floyd Mayweather got multiple $100 million checks for the Pacquiao and Conor McGregor fight. Al Heyman has been involved and had his hands in the biggest fights this last half century in boxing. So they know the money was real. They didn't want it because Eddie Hearn wanted to string it out, give his fighter confidence, and play the game how he wanted to play. And Eddie Hearns wanted to build up his fighter's confidence, and then pull the trigger when the money was at the maximum amount. And this is what happens. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Now they're coming from behind. They got to fight a guy that just knocked him down 4 times, stopped him. They made this guy a celebrity overnight. Nobody even knew who Andy Ruiz was outside of the hardcore boxing fans. And tonight, Andy Ruiz is on Jimmy Kimmel. He's the first Mexican heavyweight, so you allowed him to set history. And it's bad. It's bad for Matchroom. It's bad for Hearns, Barry Hearn, Anthony Joshua, his team, Rob McCracken, and DAZN, because they had an opportunity for something great, like Wilder's saying, to partake in this major fight that everyone wanted to see. Now Joshua has signed on, according to Eddie Hearn, and they're pulling the trigger on the immediate rematch. So they're basically giving Joshua 4 to 5 months to sort out all the problems that it looks like and sounds like they had in this particular camp, and he has to figure it out. Joshua's stamina looked horrible. He got dropped, so his punch resistancy, his confidence looked shook. He looked like his nerves were all over the place and had the jitters, and he just looked all around rattled. It looked like Ruiz had the better chin. Ruiz is the Heyman fighter. This was just a devastating blow to Eddie Hearns and also the Wilder Joshua fight. But Wilder, he loses on the opportunity to immediately, people aren't really talking about Joshua Wilder at this point, but he still has options. He can fight Luis Ortiz, make good money, and Tyson Fury. And if anything, it helps Wilder in the grand scheme of, because people aren't talking about, I don't care about the Fury fight Wilder. It just made that fight bigger because nobody's even talking about Joshua versus Wilder anymore. fights like Wilder Ortiz. Nobody's even talking about, oh, I don't want to see the Ortiz fight. Why should we see that rematch? Why should we see the Andy Ruiz rematch? Luis Ortiz did better versus Wilder than Joshua did versus Andy Ruiz, you know? So that's what happens when I told you guys this was going to happen. When you try to play God in boxing and manipulate the board and you think you control all the chess pieces, oftentimes you get that reality check. We've seen it time and time again, stalling on fights. Orlando Salido upset Juanma Lopez. They were supposed to have Juanma Lopez and Gamboa. Could have been a huge fight. They drug their feet, and then Salido stops Juanma in Puerto Rico when he's not supposed to, and then he beats him, and then he does it again. Nobody's talking about that. As far as Gamboa, people wanted to see him fight Mikey Garcia at the time. They wait, you know, politics. 50 Cent had SMS promotion with Gamboa. And then Top Rank, you know, they had Mikey Garcia at the time. Didn't happen. Mikey sat on the shelf, and then Gamboa goes on to get knocked out by another Top Rank fighter. Now no one even cares about that fight. You know, it's this what happened. Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia could have been a great fight. Now Mikey just coming off a loss to Errol Spence. And now this Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder situation. So boxing got to stop shooting itself in the foot and, you know, make the fights that people want to see, because this ain't Mayweather Pacquiao. These guys aren't as necessarily as skilled, and they're not anomalies the same way where they're going to go the next 5 years undefeated. We keep seeing Hearn just lost. He just beat Lara, but then lost to a guy Charlo beat. You know, you can't play around with it. You got to pull the trigger and make the fight, especially when the fans are demanding it, because if the fans are demanding it, that means they're ready to pay now. Now Joshua versus Wilder. Wilder's definitely the A side, and this is going to come back to haunt Anthony Joshua, because now you got to fight Andy Ruiz again for less money than you would have made in the fight with Wilder, and there's a chance you can get stopped again, just like Isaac Dogbe versus Navarrete recently. Just like Francisco Vargas getting stopped by Miguel Berchelt again on that same card recently, you know, or Juanma Lopez getting stopped by Salido again, as I mentioned. So the pressure's on Eddie Hearns and Anthony Joshua. They stalled, they drugged their feet. This is the bed that they made. Now they got to lie in it. And now Joshua is in a clutch, must-win situation. He has to pull this one out. It's like being in the finals or playoff series in the NBA. You know, this game, if you don't win this game, you're getting sent back home. That's the end of your season. So we'll see how it plays out. But I agree with Wilder. He said he was going to smoke Joshua out. They kept pretending like they wanted the fight, but their actions didn't show it. You know, Wilder can't come in the ring. But then a year later, you wait till a year later, and then you're on First Take saying, hey, meet with me. I want to meet. Let's not talk. After he says he's fighting Luis Ortiz and he's not doing anything less than 50-50. Just nonstop games. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section.
Well, you know, I feel the same way for him. You know, he's been classes the whole time. That's why the fight has never happened. You know, of course, him getting defeated and getting beat, you know, his guy getting beat, of course he's going to wish bad on me. He always have. So that's nothing, man. You know, growing up, in life, people have wished bad things on me. So that grows on deaf ears for me. That don't matter to me. You know, hopefully this can be a lesson learned for him. You know, he allowed the biggest fight in the world to not happen. He allowed it single-handedly. He allowed Joshua to miss out on $50 million, which I told Joshua personally that you're going to regret that, bro. You're going to regret allowing somebody to dictate your career, dictate how you move and what decision you make. And, you know, it's going to weigh down on him. You know, it may not have it probably haven't hit him yet, but it is. Everything about it, you know. So I blame it on them. You know, everything that why this fight didn't happen or whatever, because that could have been me that night. You know, but they knew that. They knew that it would have been me a long time ago. His career would have ended a long time ago as far as him having a loss on the record a long time ago. And they know that. So, you know, man, I'm still a champion. I still go on. And you know, he's salty right now. So may God be with him, and hopefully Josh can come up, and I advise him to find somebody else, man.